The Herberth car of Ralph Bone is not where it ought to be, John Watson.
Well, I can't explain what has happened there. So
okay, let's see.
Oh, look! Oh dear.
Well, presumably there was some contact there.
There's real contact.
Oh, we've got a car sitting sideways in the track.
Yeah, that's the 91 Porsche. It got rotated, and we think it might have been the Matisse there, the Aston Martin. So that car's going to have to go push back into its garage to effect a repair. The front splitter's still smoke coming from it because it's got superheated, being dragged along the racetrack. But the contact was sufficiently severe to damage the rim, let alone flatten the tyre.
Look at the lights on the gantry. They're red at the moment. Are they going to be released? Quite a long hold, and then they go. Looks like a good start from the front row from the pole sitter. Good job, but a challenging Jordan Pepper. John has been Nostradamus. He's predicted to have a good start. And then Lucas Stoltz looking very busy. But actually, I tell you what, the Ferrari trying to come into second place. Why not go for the lead? But you surely have clattered into the race lead. The side-by-side there, that was very, very ambitious from David Vidales, and I think he's got away with it. Has everyone else behind? No, we had cars rotated around as the dust clears.
5 cars.
Oh, dearie me.
4 cars, and there's even more further on. This is the opening lap coming through turns 3, or through 2 into 3, and it's all kicked off in the worst possible manner, literally, in these opening corners. But what is clear is Jordan Pepper has stolen the advantage. And where is Patrick Niederhauser in all this?
He's limping very slowly down between turns 4 and turn 5, so it's been all change at the front. I think he's picked up a contact from the David Vidales car, and then with nobody around him, the Mustang goes for a spin as well. This is an absolutely wild start to this race, and for Patrick Niederhauser, I do really feel, because the number 71 Ferrari came from so far back, overtook about 4 cars going into the first corner. There was contact, and there was no way that our pole starter, who made such a clean getaway, John, that Patrick Niederhauser could avoid being hit.
Well, it was always going to be difficult in the front 2 rows going into turn 1. Jordan Pepper got a great start, but the 71 Ferrari was certainly aspirational in trying to get away with it. Almost did, but just couldn't quite check up the speed of the car. And with Niederhauser just coming back, and the 2 cars inevitably would have had a collision. So it's really split the field wide open, and that Porsche front row lockout is now the best Porsches running in 3rd place.
Let's have a little look at the start. Patrick Niederhauser clearly in the lead. Then down the inside comes the red and yellow Ferrari. Just no way was going to get his braking done. And then the trouble started about 20th position. The McLaren got tipped around. A few other cars went in sympathy. And the remaining 30 cars still had to find somewhere to go. Not easy at the first turn.
I mean, a real mess. That's what you tend to get in the mid-pack. And, you know, McLaren trying to sort itself out, all the rest of the field. And the 71 Ferrari came down. That tagged the rear of the Porsche. There you can see it limping its way back. The tyre totally shredded. And all Patrick Niederhauser can do is come back as slowly as possible.
Now we're getting ready for the dive to the pit lane. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be David Vidales coming in, or Rivera first?
Well, look at that, a clean overtake. Rivera, Paul Everett, he didn't even bother challenging. He saw the pace the Ferrari had. The team would be able to tell him that the Ferrari is the 2nd quickest car. Sideswipe with the 96 Porsche.
Penalty to car 71 for causing a collision in turn 1.
Well, there's a very, very swift response. They put it under investigation, and there is the message coming through. The car in 4th place, the assailant, if you will, car 71, will be serving a drive-through penalty. So they can wave goodbye to 4th place. That's going to drop them way, way down the order.
And what Sky Tempesta, what's happened here?
Well, that's the car started by Chris Froggatt, and it's sitting off the circuit. Can he get it going? That's
out of turn
2. Move it off to the side. You would normally only go off there. Well, is there any? I can't see any damage to the car, but we can only see one flank.
There's something not right, because there's a very slow, wide arc turn. I think he maybe was having to reboot something in the car to get it to pick up.
This is riding on board with Chris Froggatt, and is he about to be given a bounce around? Let's see. Turns through the first part of the corner, going to turn 2. Yannick Mettler is behind. And Yannick Mettler's.
So the pit lane, there's our race leader in. So he's come in with 2 hours and 3 minutes. So all in relative terms early stoppers. So Jordan Pepper's getting out of the car. And I just wonder which of the 2 drivers will it be. I suspect it might be Marco Mappelli. We'll wait and see. It'll be confirmed when the car trips over the pit lane exit, and the transponder will then update. So there is the 48. Mauro Engel behind the wheel, and there is the race leading the car that's dominated essentially from the lights going out. So Maro Engel's all the way up at turn 12. He's still in the second sector. So the Lamborghini, still the fuel bars are attached. And coming all the time, coming up now to the chicane. So the bars has been detached, and is that Lamborghini going to be released? Depending how far it is up the pit lane, it's got to crawl down at 50 kilometers per hour, whereas the 48 Mercedes will be on full chat.
But the advantage actually for the
advantage has gone to Lamborghini fractionally, not an awful lot. There's the Mercedes top left. There's the Lamborghini coming onto track and building up the speed. So here's a group of 3 cars, and down the inside, and he get position. Well, he's on the wrong part of the racetrack for turn 2, but can he get the undercut? That's what he's looking for. And no, he can't. The Lamborghini's Andrea Caldarelli is able to fend him off, and Caldarelli, of course, is been backed up into the rear of Thomas Drouet's Mercedes-Benz. And well, Van der Linde thought, I've got him, I've finally got him, but
here's the lead battle. You don't need to tell me what the gap between them is. It was a 0.6 of a second on the start-finish line. It's down to about 0.1 of a second, and now this is really, really tight, John.
Yeah, and this is maybe a little bit of sort of confirmation from what I think I was watching, that the Lamborghini's becoming a little bit less comfortable to drive. It's a little bit sort of edgy, I would call it. Certain parts of the track, it just looks like its back end moves back again, whereas the Mercedes looks to be totally planted. And that's going to give Maro Engel hope. We're what, about 15 minutes away, or maybe even less, before the second round of pit stops are going to be open. Coming down into turn 1, different approach from both drivers, exit of the corner. Nothing has really changed, but now there's real pressure indeed coming from Maro Engel.
Right, a couple of laps ago, this was a question that the matter was just Drudy and Haas. So Drudy, championship leader in the green and yellow Aston Martin, side by side in the hairpin, right behind Anthony Bartone's Mercedes. Oh, there was the rub.
Yes, that was a bit of blue smoke.
However, that matter has been cleared up and no further investigation. Okay. This car has almost been invisible despite starting on the outside of the front row, running third in the first stint, running third in the second stint, not close enough to the top 2 cars, 9.5 seconds down on Maro Engel's Mercedes, but nearly 14 seconds clear of Philippe Eng's car, and it was the same in the first stint with Arhenchen Gouvent, same again now.
That car, the 2 drivers,
stealth,
rock solid, in a podium position in the pro category. It's probably been a very boring race so far for both drivers, because they haven't really had to fight and challenge. They've always been at the what's happening here? Sheldon van der Linde has come out of turn 17 almost alongside Caldarelli. Now it's a drag race. Who's got the greatest straight line performance? The BMW has, but we've seen this in previous laps. Caldarelli, look at him. He's finally, but is he going to make the undercut and the cutback? Watch also
David Pittard's looking interested.
Wow, history has been made. History has been made, but Caldarelli ain't going to give it up.
Well, what an exit he must have had from the final corner. But we've seen this here before, that Sheldon van der Linde takes the time.
Pittard's also. So error from Caldarelli in turn 3. Just got the car too wide onto the slightly dirtier part of the racetrack, and he was powerless. The car just, its own momentum swept it too wide. David Pittard said, I'll have that any day, all day long. Oh, look at David Pittard. Wow. Well, he's suddenly got a bit of pace.
He's basically saying, I've been watching you for laps. I've closed in on you with your battle with Andrea Caldarelli. Sheldon, I'm going to have a go now and show you how it's done. I'm an expert on the Nürburgring. And now the long, slow run from Maro Engel under the pit limit, of course, down the pit lane to make his pit stop, the final pit stop for the number 48 car from Mercedes-AMG Team Mann-Filter. Will they come out ahead of the 163 Lamborghini? That has already made its pit stop, has changed from Marco Mappelli to Franck Pereira, who is herring around the lap, and he's going to hope that he can get the 163 still to flash past the pit exit as the 48 comes out and resume the lead of the race.
Where is the 163? There she is, coming into turn 11 and then through 12, and it's all getting a bit sort of, oh, well, the fuel's going in, but the Lamborghini's up to speed, fresh Pirelli rubber, and that's always a great feeling when you get into a car. It's back on the balls. Oh, fuel, a little bit of fuel seepage there at the Mercedes, just as that, I don't know why the dry brakes didn't prevent that. I don't like to see loose fuel, because there's very hot components around that part of the car. So So it's rolling.
Okay, that was very, very fortunate indeed. That little lift perhaps just saved it, but with the BMW coming across the nose. Now, the yellow Mercedes exits. Where's the Lamborghini's flashing at proper racing speed? Now it's going to be super tight. The Mercedes is ahead down to the first corner. Can he get turned in? Well, his tires aren't going to be very warm at all, and so that was the key moment. Absolutely. And head in hands there from our angle. He thought he'd stayed out the extra lap and it would have been just enough. It was going to be down to the tiniest fractions of a second, and I think we've effectively said that those pit stops were absolutely square and even between them.
To get ahead of that second place number 48 Mercedes.
That's the moment Dries van Toor strikes as he came past the window of our commentary box. I sensed he was a little bit closer to the tail of the Lamborghini. Now he's got ahead of Cairoli. Can he still be there when they get to turn 3? Well, the Lamborghini has a nose in front, but will he be on the outside line? He's had to back it off. Hey, and who's going to try and grab a chance as well? Alessandro Pierguidi. Can he get it on a better exit out of turn 4? Suddenly it's gone horribly wrong for Matteo Cairoli. John, that happens so many times. Get a little bit out of line and then everything goes away from you.
Yeah, again, that all began probably in the run down into turn 1. Not in turn 1 itself, and Cairoli got wrong-footed initially by Dries van Toor, and of course following Alessandro Pierguidi thought, well, I'm going to have some of that action as well.
Brilliant drone shots into turn 16 and 17 being the final corner. Then it's all about getting that clear exit, that acceleration as early as you possibly can, John, onto the start-finish straight, and see if you can get a bit closer for a drag. And I sense the Ferrari is of Pierguidi's a little bit closer to Van Toor. Will he be close enough to make a move?
5-second time penalty added to the final racing time for pit lane infringement, and 10 seconds to car 7 for unsafe release.
Okay, well that was the second one of there was the important one. We were waiting to find out if Marco Sorensen's car would be done for an unsafe release.
Contact between the BM and the Ferrari.
Okay, so I sensed the Ferrari had a better speed down the start-finish straight. He made a move into the first corner sequences, and between turns 2 and 3 there was contact there. And how much damage is Dries van Toor carrying? He's moved back ahead.
That's a wounded BMW, I think, and maybe our left front tire has been cut down because he's losing pace and he's going to be pumping into the pit lane, I suspect, at the end of lap 81, and that we didn't see the beginning of it. We only caught the very last of it in turn 3, and you can see that left front looks like it's actually out of line. Looks like it's tracking. Watch again and see what happens. Pierguidi, he's the third of these 3 cars. Now suddenly a lunge down the inside, and he gets past Dries van Toor, makes the undercut, trying to go the long way around, going into turn 2. The Ferrari's got the real estate. Now it's undercut again from Dries van Toor, carrying a bit more speed on the exit of 2. He's going to make a lunge down the inside, but the door is shut. And as Larry Grayson used to say, shut that door.
Now he knows for sure they have, so he doesn't have to worry. Oh, now Dries van Toor cannot get turned in.
I mean, this is the suspension damage. He turned the wheel and the car just snapped immediately. So he's actually at pit lane entry, but that was a moment which he didn't really want to have.
48 flashing the lights is pressing on in second place. Daniel Morad doesn't want to lose another tenth of a second. He doesn't want to get the Laurin Heinrich Porsche right onto his tail, but I think that's what's precisely going to happen.
It certainly is going through the chicane, so that's a frustration for Daniel Morad because it's dragged Laurin Heinrich right now into potential a preparation for an overtake if he can maintain the aero slipstream down the start-finish straight. So what will Morad do? Will he go defensive and move to the middle of the racetrack? But he's moving over a little bit. Heinrich following him. He's going to dive down the inside. Cuts back, so the Get Speed Mercedes, the red car, gets out of the way. Now, they cut back. Can he get under the Mercedes on the exit of turn 2? And he's got the pace to get alongside. It's going to be given the ground. Well, yes, he is. He's just about got himself. But Morad is in the right place for turn 4. And Heinrich's going to be run out off the racetrack. He had nowhere to go. He just had a look. Now the fence is really getting heated between the Mercedes and the Porsche.
And the second and third place cars only now in the background of the shot, coming onto the start-finish straight, and it's still the Mercedes of Daniel Morad holding off Laurin Heinrich. Is Heinrich close enough to get a toe down the straight? No, not really, surely, but if he's not diving down the inside this time, he's having a look. He's going to have to do it next time. He's got the nose alongside. He's shoveled Daniel Morad out of the way. For half a second, it looks like he's going to hold back, John, and then he made the dive, and now it's all happiness down at Comey Lenegar's team.
I mean, it was almost a will I, won't I, will I, won't I, and Morad was also thinking, will he, won't he? Now he's having a lunge into turn 3, and it was both drivers weren't certain if either driver was either willing to or unwilling to accept whatever might be the outcome.
The checkered flag is waved. Victory is secured by 163 Frank Pereira, and they're rather happy at Grasser Racing Team. Look at that. Absolute joy for them. In the end, it'd be about 10 seconds, 9.6 seconds over Lauren Heinrich for Schumacher CLRT. Lights flashing on his Porsche. Third place is Daniel Morad. So at least the 48 Mercedes crew for Winwood Racing get a podium position. They would have liked more, but it was a great chase. So here are the results at the end. Victory by nearly 10 seconds for Frank Pereira, Marco Mappelli and Jordan Pepper for the Grasser Racing Team with their Lamborghini. Right at the end, Schumacher CLRT with their Porsche, driven at the end by Lauren Heinrich, moved ahead into second place, just getting past the Mercedes that had run so well, the car 48 from Winwood Racing. Lucas Auer, Daniel Morad and Mauro Engel, they had to settle for third place overall. And really quiet run for Ricardo Feller, Alex Arca and Christopher Haas. So they moved up to fourth place. A penalty for the number 5 Aston Martin has dropped it down from 5th to 6th, and 6th to 5th has gone Philippe Eng, Nick Yaloli and Marco Wittmann in their Rover Racing BMW. Moving down to the classes, we've got the Gold Cup winner Jim Pla, Paul Everard and Gilles Magnus down in 15th place overall. The Silver Cup winners, we've just heard from them, they were 16th overall, and the winners in the bronze class came home in 22nd position overall. It's Dustin Blattner, Dennis Marshall who brought it home, and Luke Hartog. They took the class honours there. All 4 classes represented in the field of 50 cars. Cracking race, and we got, I would suggest, 45 of them home in an instant-packed 3 hours here at the Nürburgring. Our winners on the top step of the podium, Frank Pereira, Jordan Pepper and Marco Mappelli. Trophies aloft, delighted with their performance, and their mechanics and pit crew cheering them to the rafters from down below.